What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my main event breakdown and prediction for UFC 301. We got Alexandre Pantoja going against Steve Erceg. Flyweight title on the line here. Going to be breaking it all down. Going to be picking a winner. Going to be talking through this fight from a betting perspective, which there are some spots sticking out. Before we get into it all, if you guys could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, be on the lookout for the full card breakdown and prediction video for UFC 301. 14 fights on the card. I've researched all 14 of them just now. Got to record, edit, and then I'll get it out to you guys hopefully by Monday night. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, looking forward to talking through this main event, talking through it from a betting perspective. When I first saw this main event was announced, I honestly thought it was a joke. I could not believe it. I thought it was kind of hilarious, actually. And, not saying Steve Erceg doesn't deserve this title fight. Not saying that Steve Erceg isn't a really good fighter, because he is. It's just I wasn't expecting it. I mean, Steve Erceg, we'll get into it a little bit more, but like the resume of Erceg is kind of interesting. Like he makes his debut, I believe, on short notice against David Dvorak, wins that fight. And then his last fight, he beats Matt Schnell. So, going from, beating Matt Schnell to a title fight, I just thought was very interesting. So, but yeah, it should be a fun fight. Well, we're going to break it down here. We got Pantoja, 34 years old, 5'5", with a 68-inch reach, 27-5, and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Steve Erceg, 28 years old, 5'8", with a 68.5-inch reach, 12-1, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. It's 5 fights. It's been a while since Steve Erceg has lost. The last time he did lose a fight was back in 2017, like 7-8 years ago at this point. And then as far as Alexandre Pantoja, the last time he lost a fight was back in 2020 against Askar Askarov, a guy that we have not seen in a while. I think might have even retired due to health problems. But Askar Askarov's a very good fighter. Pantoja also has a loss to Davison Figueiredo as well back in 2019, and then also a loss against Dustin Ortiz back in 2018. So, yeah, like I said, when I first saw this fight was announced, I was shocked. I was shocked it was announced. And then, first instinct was like, man, how cool would it be to see Steve Erceg just be a champion? Like, this is a guy who I think people are really getting behind. There's money coming in on Steve Erceg. Alexandre Pantoja opened up minus 255. He's now minus 190. Steve Erceg opened up plus 215. He's now plus 165. So I'm kind of surprised. Erceg's a very popular underdog, it looks to be, and I was thinking about it. And then, you look into the fight, you look into the resumes especially. Like, this is a guy in, Steve Erceg who made his debut against Dvorak, which it was a close fight. Steve Erceg clearly won, but it was competitive across 3 rounds, but got the decision, pulled off an upset there. He was an underdog in that fight. And then he goes out there and beats Alessandro Costa. Wasn't dominant by any means. It was a good win, clear win, but it was competitive at moments. And then he goes out there against Matt Schnell and knocks out Matt Schnell. But I mean, everybody knocks out Matt Schnell. Like, a gust of wind can knock out Matt Schnell at this point. So, just looking at those 3 wins, especially the Schnell win, it doesn't really tell you much. The Dvorak win and Costa win, they're good wins. It's just, you look at who Pantoja's fighting, and it's top 5 guys. Brandon Moreno, former champion. Brandon Royval beat Brandon Royval twice, once by rear naked choke in the second round, then once by taking him down 8 times and controlling him across 25 minutes. He's beaten Brandon Moreno 3 times, actually. Once in the Tough House, once I think it might have been his, maybe his 3rd or 4th fight in the UFC, and then just beat him not too long ago in Vegas across 5 rounds where he took him down 6 times, knocked him down at one point. So yeah, he's beating Royval, he's beating Moreno, he's beating Alex Perez. Alex Perez has apparently revived his career, went out there and got a nice knockout win against Mateus Nicolau last week. So, and then beat Manel Kape. Close fight, but beat him nonetheless. So yeah, I mean, you just compare the resumes and it's night and day. And it's not saying Alexandre Pantoja is going to win for that reason. It's just Pantoja is a guy that prior to the Moreno fight, I kind of worried about his cardio, because we have seen Pantoja slow down a little bit in the past. That Askar Askarov fight, he did slow down a tad, and even in the Moreno fight, it looks like he's on his way to slow down, but he's one of those guys that looks extremely exhausted, but is just able to push through it. He has a ton of heart, no quit in him, super durable, and just seeing him go out there, and he's fought 50 minutes in his last 2 fights. completing 14 takedowns in those last two fights against very good fighters in Brandon Moreno who's a black belt in BJJ, Brandon Royval, black belt, very tricky guy on the mat, and he was able to take those guys both down a combined 14 times across 25 minutes. The cardio has held up. The chin, the durability's always held up. He's been dropped once, but it was against Davis and Figueiredo back in 2019. So yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons, to like Pantoja, but there's also some reasons to like Erceg. Erceg's a very good fighter in his own right. Erceg's striking is pretty dang good. I was impressed with the striking of Erceg against David Dvorak. You look through Erceg's career outside of these UFC fights, and he's primarily a grappler, like a very good grappler at that. But his striking has came a long way, and it's good. It's a very good striking, very good volume. Has some pop as well. Not really some murderous power puncher. I know he knocked out Schnell, but like I said, a gust of wind could do that. But yeah, I don't think he has the power to hurt Pantoja. That's for dang sure. But yeah, minute for minute, maybe Erceg can definitely have some success on the feet, or at the very least make it competitive. It's just, I want to know what Erceg's takedown defense is like, right? Like, it hasn't really been tested. Alessandro Costa took him down once, was not really able to control him at all. Costa was 1 for 6 on takedowns. David Dvorak took him down once. Dvorak was 1 for 3 on takedowns. But I think his takedown defense is going to be tested here for sure against Pantoja, who is looking to get the fight down to the mat, a lot more than, typically has in his career, and he's had success doing so. So, yeah, I was gonna do it. I was gonna take Erceg for the upset, but I can't. I think it's too soon. I think it's far too soon. I would have liked to see Erceg go out there and fight even like a Manel Kopp. I think would be a fun fight. Would like to see Erceg go out there and fight like a Brandon Moreno. I know Moreno's taking some time off, but Brandon Moreno, somebody like that. Like, just take a step up in competition, because going from Schnell to Pantoja like is a massive step up. Like, Pantoja finished Schnell as well. I mean, everybody's finished Schnell, but Pantoja did in the first round. So it's a massive step up in competition for Steve Erceg. And for Pantoja, he's been fighting these guys, these really good guys for a while now. The Askar Askarovs, the Manel Kopps, the Brandon Royvals, the Alex Perez's, the Brandon Morenos. He's been doing this for a while at this point. Davis and Figueiredo, so on and so forth. He's fought everybody in the division pretty much. So I have to go with Pantoja, but I don't want to completely count out Erceg, because I think he has good cardio, but we've never seen him 25. He has had 2 fights scheduled for 5 rounds, but they both ended in the first, which tells us nothing. But I think he has solid cardio. I think he has really good volume. I think he has really good grappling. It's just, what's the takedown defense look like? What does he look like off his back? What does he look like against an absolute killer in Pantoja, quite frankly? But so yeah, I do like Pantoja to win, and I'm curious to see where this money line does go, because Erceg seems to be a very popular dog. From a betting perspective, like I said, I'm going to see where this line goes for Pantoja, see where it does end up at, but I'm kind of surprised at these overs. So both of these guys are next level durable. Pantoja especially. Pantoja's a guy that has 32 fights, and I just listed off a ton of killers this guy has fought. Killer after killer. Davis and Figueiredo, guys like that, even Manel Kopp. Brandon Royval, very good finisher. Just a lot of very, very dangerous guys Pantoja's fought. Never been finished. 5 losses for Pantoja, all come by decision. Steve Erceg hasn't fought the best competition, but very tough guy, has a good chin, has good BJJ, never been finished. So 6 losses between the two combined. Neither guy's been finished. I think the over 3.5 makes some sense. Over 4.5 is plus money at plus 130. Makes some sense. The fight goes to decision plus 160. It makes some sense. I'm leaning overs here. Like, if there's a finish in this fight, where does it come from? Because I really struggle to see anybody ever finishing Pantoja. Ever. And then as far as Steve Erceg, maybe Pantoja can finish him, but even that I'm not too confident in as well. So, yeah, I like this fight to go to decision, and I like Pantoja to edge this one out, I'm thinking. But yeah, looking at like an over from a betting perspective, maybe the over 3.5, maybe the over 4.5 at plus money, even like the over 2.5. I don't think it's only minus 175. Like, this is a flyweight fight where both these guys are super tough. So I like overs here, but the pick for me is going to be Pantoja. Let me know who you guys have down in the comments. Should be a fun fight. I know a lot of people are going to be rooting for Erceg. I think that'd be super cool to see him win it. I just think it's a little bit too soon for the dude, but we'll see. Best of luck, everybody, for UFC 301. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe. Be on the lookout for the full card breakdown video, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.